Let's start from the beginning. I mean, you're home right now. I'd assume are you always going to be working from home, remote, or are you going to be going to the office, anytime soon?
They have plans for us to go back to the office around like June 1st. The CEO came out and was just like, yeah, we're not gonna like make anybody come to the office
Okay.
prior to June 1st. They may extend it. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to make the move down to Austin. That's
Yep.
where one of the offices, is located. And so I'll make that move eventually. But right now I'm just stacking my money and
Smart.
yeah, yeah, and enjoying this work from home as far as that. But yeah, that's the plans moving forward as far as being in the office.
Okay.
But
Nice.
and I may be able to negotiate like working from home, like if that's something that I want to do in the future. Like
Mhm.
I don't really see it, but I think there's like some of my other colleagues who actually like working from home. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is fine.
I think that it'll be an option, especially like if they see that you're productive. So
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's the way the world is going. So for you, I mean, how does your day start? Walk me, this morning. What does a normal morning kind of look like for you when you begin your day?
mhm. So like on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have a territory team meeting.
Okay.
I'm on the West, so I support NorCal, and I'm getting SoCal,
Okay.
Water. So 9:30, hop on the team meeting. We go through like non-compliance and things like that on Salesforce. Just things we gotta tidy up, keep it clean, and that's what we're working on for the week as far as a certain amount of dials. Make sure we're getting our dials in, our emails in, things like that. And then after that, I pretty much just go into Sales Loft and see what steps I need to to complete, and
Okay.
import leads or contacts, and just into my cadences that I built out already, and just put touches on people. I book meetings, attend meetings that I've already organized already. um pretty much talk to my field reps, or some people call them account executives. I talk to them like throughout the week, so I
Okay.
connect with them as well.
Got it.
um but other than that, I honestly, realistically speaking, I'm probably done with like work after like I start calling people around 10:30 my time, CST, between
Hmm.
like 10:30, 12-ish. Send out all my emails around that time as well too. So I'm pretty much done by like 12 as far as,
Wow.
yeah, by like action items. Then after that, like it's just whoever is going to take a meeting. Like I have people that right away they respond. Sometimes, especially like with sales, like we can see how many times people are opening our emails. So if I see somebody open up my emails like more than twice, they end up eventually like at the end of the day like, oh yeah, sorry for the late reply, I'm free on this day at such and such time. And
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
so then I just let everything fall in as that as well, and get things over the phone as well too.
Okay.
um it is a numbers game, but usually I'm
Yep.
done around like 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're hitting before we started the recording. You said this first quarter you're gonna hit 150%. So that's crazy. So backing up. So in the beginning you have like a list of probably your main contacts that you need to prospect for the day via call and email, and you're doing that for roughly between 1 and 2 hours a day. How many touches are you making in that morning time when you're doing those cold calls? How many calls are you making a day, and how many like emails are you sending out as well?
um it honestly just all depends. So the way I do my workflow is I don't really prospect during the week. I take a time out, usually like on a Saturday, because when I have time to do it, and I just take like 3 to 5 hours and just build like a gigantic list, of about 2 minutes,
Okay.
and then I just pick and choose. I just pick and choose off that list. And so right now I'm about to have 3 reps. So try to get like 100 people from each rep, who from like even if it's not 100 different accounts, but just 100 solid people that good titles, good email addresses, and then I go in and then just start importing off of those lists that I made.
Okay.
In Salesforce, I use the SDR filter, so I can just pull up a lead view. And I say on a minimum, we're required to make 50 calls, 50 emails. Uh, in the past, when I've seen like my very good success, I've sent out about 500 emails in a week. So
Okay.
I try to replicate that. So
Okay.
I usually try to import in a week about 130 something. And then that usually gets me, because that's, especially if I do it on a Monday, that's like 3 email steps doing that week. So that's about 500 and something emails. And then the calls, they follow suit as well. Because it's, they honestly, they say 50 emails, 50 calls a day, but just as long, like the team number is 200. So just as long as I might do, on Monday, I might just go after, the prime people, and might do only 20 calls. But then on the next day, it's going to be like a very call heavy day. I may put like 60, 70 calls up. So it's really not so much set in stone. It's just me making sure that I hit that number of 200.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So not a super high volume. And it sounds like for you, are you guys given your ICP buyer persona, like your target market, your territory, and you're the one that's able to find the leads compared to I've talked to other reps where their leads are already in, Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever tool they're using, and they just got to call that list. But you get to actually research and find the leads you think you should go after based on a set of criteria, right?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because obviously, the SDR role is kind of, a high turnover rate,
Yep.
what I'm saying? So I've got things were assigned to me. I think about somewhere up about 2,000 people just already in the system, whether it's past events, people that we've talked to already, lost opportunities, things like that. People that we've only, stage 0, as far as we just had a meeting with them, it didn't go anywhere. But I do have the luxury to go after white space. I can go into Zoom Info and, do some digging there. I can go on LinkedIn and do some digging there, import, not so much on LinkedIn Sales Nav. You kind of gotta guess their email and their phone numbers. So
Yeah.
if I do anything off of LinkedIn Sales Nav, it's probably just email only, especially if I can find something in Salesforce like, oh, this person works at that company too, and that's their emails, like their last name dot first name at. So I just kind of mimic that. But Zoom Info is probably where I do most of my, white space searching.
Okay.
What people call like green space, just
Yep.
not any named accounts that are not in Salesforce, but they look promising. So I do that as well. And yeah, so it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Okay. And then so you're doing your actual outreach for a couple hours in the morning till around, lunchtime. And then you're saying the afternoon is where maybe you have some meetings that were set that so if you set a meeting for your A or your field rep, are you attending that full meeting? Are you just kind of like handing it off? Or are you not even showing up? What does that look like for qualified for the meetings you actually book?
95% of the time I am attending,
Okay.
just so I can get familiar with the pitch. There's a different, as of recently, there's different, career paths that they given, entry level SDRs, as far as, account renewals, or,
Okay.
inside sales, account executive, or like enterprise SDR, you know what I'm saying? Or, existing customers already. And so my biggest thing is when I'm listening that we have a sales engineer that's always on the call as well, along with the account executive. So I'm always paying attention to the pitch, and I'm always paying attention to just different little like the one-liners that I can use as far as when the sales engineer is going and actually demoing our product and our solution. And
Okay.
so yeah, I mostly am attending these calls because I also just want to see, every AE is different. They have their own swag.
Yep.
I just want to get, kind of the feel from, different, pitch styles.
And do you have a couple A's assigned to you? Like if you're booking meetings, like you're assigned to Bob and Johnny and whoever, or is it like a round robin? How does your meetings get booked for who? How does that work for you guys?
It goes off of territory. So they have me right now in the Bay Area, one of my territories, and so it's kind of split. It's like 5 reps in there, just because it's so
Oh
many
wow.
is there. It's kind of saturated, but there's like supposedly named end territory, as like, oh, everybody in the peninsula of the Bay Area goes to this account executive.
Okay.
White space, snooze you lose kind of thing. So it's kind of pick and choose, but if it's a named account for them, it's theirs. I try to keep
Okay.
it, I try to keep it geo as possible.
hmm
It just honestly depends. But for the most part, I'm not gonna, if I'm in the Bay Area, I'm not gonna book a meeting for, my account executives that's in the Bay Area for like a LA meeting. I'll probably book that for my
Makes
SoCal.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you mentioned you Monday, Wednesday, Friday you have these SDR. These are SDR like stand up meetings, right?
Yeah, with my SDR manager and everybody else that's on the team.
Okay. And then how, in terms of other meetings, like with your SDR manager, how much communication is there? Do you have like a weekly one-on-one with them? Maybe they're just checking in here and there. Obviously, you're not in an office, so they can't come by, and say, hey, how's it going today, Jordan? But what does that look like between your communication with your SDR manager, one-on-ones? How much training there's actually done, aside from these three stand-ups throughout the week?
Yeah, so my company is kind of good at those type of things, because it's not just with my SDR manager, it's with the theater manager as well. As far as, we have like a quarterly all hands or a monthly all hands. So we get everybody that's, in the country together on a call as far as
Got it.
go, inside sales go. And there's weekly one-on-ones that my direct SDR manager has with us. Sometimes it just all depends on what's the week. You know what I'm saying? Like this week it's kind of been heavy just to make sure that everything's secured to close out the quarter. So I've been talking to her a lot.
Okay.
And then I reach out to other managers as well.
Okay.
Just pick their brain as well. So we make sure we stay in communication.
Got it. And what about the communication between your team? Obviously, like an SDR, it's a tough role. You mentioned it. It can be high turnover. It's a grind. And especially when you're in an office, it's like fun. It's fun if you're all kind of similar, and you can maybe go out for drinks afterwards. Obviously, that's different now. So what is that? I know you don't know what that did look like, because you obviously had joined during COVID. But what does that look like now between your other SDRs? Do you guys do anything maybe online, or like you don't maybe really have that much interaction with them?
For me, I always try to, put calendar on, a few people's, time as far as, hey, let's chat. Like even today, right after this meeting at like 12, I'm meeting with somebody else on my team.
Okay.
Catch up. So I'm always big on that. Some of them we have like recurring, as far as like who's done the role like longer than me. So they just
Got it.
Name and things like that. But yeah, we usually try to keep in communication for sure. Like with my reps, and might just even talk to my rep like, hey man, this deal is probably going to close. Appreciate it. Just things like that. Just try to keep it somewhat as normalized in this normal time.
Yep. Okay. That's cool. And I guess the last question I kind of want to end on. Now you've been in the role, you've been in SDR for, since September. Going through pre-hired, were there any surprises to you? Like, okay, this is what going through pre-hired, going through the program initially, here's what I thought the role would be like. Is there anything different? And maybe it's not drastically different, but is there anything different that like, I didn't think I'd be calling this much. I didn't think I'd be doing this or that, or maybe everything is pretty like, no, what pre-hired trained on here and there, there's little differences, but for the most part, it's what I thought the role was going to be like. It is like. What would you say?
I'd say that for the most part, what you guys, taught us throughout the modules, it's exactly like that. Probably didn't touch on list building as much because I think that's what I dedicate most of my time to. That's like the grueling part of the job. It's just, and it's not even grueling. It's just very tedious to just, all right, I'm going to sit here at my computer, at my laptop for X amount of time and go through X amount of people and try to, build this list so I can just pick and pop. I feel like that's the only thing, honestly. I think every organization is different. As far as organization wise, they did tell me that 65% of our business is inbound. For most of the reps, SDRs in in the country, they have like states. I don't have states. I'm one of the only few, reps that don't have states. I have, metropolitan areas, counties. Like I have Orange County, that's it.
Okay.
Even though it's a lot of opportunity there, but it's just like, and I don't really get a lot of like inbound leads.
Yeah.
Pretty much cold.
You're the newer guy, so they're going to give them to the more established people.
No, even the established reps, even a rep that.
It just depends on the territory, I guess. Got it.
Exactly. So like everything's cold, but the thing is though, most of the people that they know about us, they have heard about us. They've either talked to us. A regional sales manager said the other day, like, you know, everybody usually comes around to buy Rubric at one point, even whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they're gonna buy eventually because the product is just that good. So you know, I have that backing me. But as far as the inbound leads, everything's cold, man. I gotta warm these people up.
Got it. Makes sense. Cool. Well, and yeah, I mean, in terms of, obviously the building, like it does depend on companies because I talked to someone, same conversation last week. They don't have to do any of that. It's like, here's your leads in Salesforce, call them up, and they don't really even have to do that much research. It might pop up on the side, which this is a lot higher volume, and so that definitely makes sense. Where it is, I mean, everyone, pretty much every SDR, you're doing the same thing at the end of the day. But in terms of how one organization does it differently from others, hey, you might have to do a little extra work. There's other SDRs that don't ever have to sit on the calls, which I think it's a good thing to sit on the calls so you can get an understanding. So, but that's good to hear that for the most part they're pretty much spot on except for a couple things. So, well, cool. Well, I appreciate the time, Jordan. I mean, that's about it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I appreciate Pre-Hired. I wouldn't, be in this position right now if it wasn't for you guys. So I'm forever indebted to you good folks over at Pre-Hired. So yeah, I'm down to do these whenever, especially like become a manager or something like that.
That would be cool.
I'm always ready to rep the team.
I like it. And yeah, the manager that the next to the going to an AE role, that program should hopefully be coming out soon, and then going to a management track as well. So you'll receive emails, but internally, obviously, be on the lookout for that as well. So
yeah, for sure. All right, thank you, man.